she said. I deserve a man who makes me feel like a queen, while texting her ex. So I let her have her king. Now she's paying his debts while I'm dating someone real. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I used to think stability was enough. You know, being the kind of man who shows up when he says he will, who remembers how you take your coffee, who actually listens when you talk. That's how I approached my relationship with Lila. When we met, she said those things were exactly what she wanted. She'd just gotten out of a messy on-again, off-again thing with a guy named Derek. From the way she described him, unreliable, charming, and always broke, I thought I was the complete opposite of what she was used to. I figured that was a good thing. At first, she acted like it was. She'd tell her friends, Ethan's different. He's stable, responsible, like an actual adult. She made it sound like a compliment, and maybe it was. We'd cook together on weekends, talk about travel plans, save for a place of our own. For a while, it felt solid, real. But over time, her tone started to shift. It was little things at first. When I'd come home after a long day at work and suggest ordering takeout, she'd sigh and say, "You're so predictable sometimes." If I planned a quiet weekend, she'd scroll through her phone, looking at pictures of other couples out at clubs or on fancy dates, and mutter, "Must be nice to have a boyfriend who actually does romantic stuff." I thought she was joking. I laughed it off. One night, we were watching a movie together, and the lead guy surprised his girlfriend with a trip to Paris. Lila looked at the screen, then at me. "See, that's what I mean. He gets it. Women want to feel like queens, Ethan." I smiled and said, "Queens still need electricity bills paid." She rolled her eyes. "You always ruin the mood with logic." I brushed it off, but something about that moment stuck. Over the next few months, she became obsessed with her image online, posting filtered photos, sharing quotes like, "A real queen never settles for less than she deserves," or, "If he won't spoil you, someone else will." I didn't take it personally at first. Social media was just noise, right? But the more she posted, the colder she became toward me. She'd go out with friends more often, dress up like she was going somewhere important, and come home late, acting distant. When I'd ask how the night went, she'd shrug and say, "It was fine," then head straight for the shower. I wanted to believe everything was okay. I told myself she was just under stress. Work, social pressure, whatever excuse helped me sleep at night. But one evening proved otherwise. I was sitting on the couch, waiting for her to finish getting ready. We were supposed to go out for dinner, my treat. Her phone buzzed on the counter. I didn't mean to look, but the screen lit up with a name I recognized. Derek. I froze. When she walked back into the room, I tried to sound calm. "Hey, your phone went off." "Oh," she said casually, snatching it up. "Just Derek." I raised an eyebrow. "Your ex?" "Relax," she said, smiling like I was the one being unreasonable. "We're friends now. He just wanted to catch up." "Since when do friends text you at 8 p.m. on a Friday night?" She sighed. "God, Ethan, you're so paranoid. Can't a woman have friends?" She spent the rest of dinner scrolling through her phone, laughing quietly at messages she wouldn't show me. That night, lying in bed beside her, I couldn't sleep. Her phone kept lighting up. Each time, she'd roll over and hide the screen. I wanted to ask what was going on. I wanted to tell her how much it was killing me to feel her slipping away one text at a time. But I didn't. I stayed quiet. I thought if I gave her space, she'd come back around. Instead, she pulled further away. By the end of that month, she barely spoke to me. The only things she seemed excited about were her posts, her outfits, and whoever was on the other end of those late-night messages. She used to say I made her feel safe. Now, she said I made her feel bored. And I had no idea that the next time we argued, she'd throw that queen line in my face again. But this time, as her reason for leaving. It happened on a Wednesday night. One of those quiet evenings where nothing feels wrong until suddenly everything does. I came home early from work, carrying takeout from her favorite Thai place. I figured maybe a small surprise dinner would help us reconnect. The lights in the apartment were low, music playing faintly from the Bluetooth speaker. At first, I thought she wasn't home. Then I saw her out on the balcony, back turned to me, phone in hand. She was laughing. Not just smiling, laughing, the way she used to when we first started dating. For a second, it warmed me. Then I heard her say, "You always knew how to make me feel special, Derek." My stomach dropped. I stood there in silence, listening. She giggled again. No, he doesn't get it. He's nice, but it's different. You just make me feel like me again. That was enough. I stepped out onto the balcony. Having a nice chat? She jumped, spinning around so fast her phone nearly slipped from her hand. Ethan, you scared me. I didn't mean to. Just didn't know I was interrupting something so personal. She rolled her eyes, defensive. It's not what it looks like. Oh, so you weren't just telling your ex that I don't make you feel special? Her expression hardened. You're twisting things. Am I? I said quietly. Because I heard my name. And his. She crossed her arms. You always do this. You find some little thing and turn it into drama. Lila, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. You've been distant for months. You text him late at night. You hide your phone. You tell me I'm boring. And now you're out here laughing with him while I'm inside picking up dinner for us. What exactly am I supposed to think? She sighed heavily, as if I was inconveniencing her by caring. You're so insecure sometimes, Ethan. I can't live like this, being policed all the time. Policed? I'm asking you if you're being faithful. Her lips curled slightly. You make everything about loyalty and rules. Relationships should feel alive, passionate. Derek knew how to make me feel like a queen. There it was. The same word again, queen. But this time it hit differently. I stared at her. So that's what this is about. You want fireworks all the time. I want to feel something, she shot back. With you, it's just safe. Predictable. You treat me like a roommate, not a woman. I treat you with respect, I said quietly. That's not the same thing. She gave a cold laugh. Respect doesn't make me feel desired. Something in me just shut off. I looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I'd been breaking my back to make happy, and realized nothing I ever did would be enough. Not because I was lacking, but because she was addicted to the chaos. I set the takeout bag on the table. Dinner's inside. Eat if you're hungry. I walked past her and went straight to the bedroom. She didn't follow. That night, I barely slept. I heard her phone buzz over and over again, and every time I did, the same dull ache burned in my chest. The next few days were filled with silence. She avoided me, stayed out late, and when I tried to talk, she'd say things like, "You're smothering me. I just need space to think. You wouldn't understand what I'm feeling." Finally, one evening, she sat across from me at the kitchen table. Her eyes were clear, almost rehearsed. "I've been thinking," she began. "We want different things. You want a quiet, stable life. I want passion, excitement, someone who makes me feel like a queen." I didn't interrupt her. I just listened. She mistook my silence for weakness. "It's not that I don't care about you, Ethan. You're a good guy. You really are. But maybe you're just not the one." There was a long pause. Then I said, calm as ever, "Then go find your king." Her expression froze. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm not going to fight for someone who's already gone," I said. She let out a small, smug laugh. "Maybe I already did." She stood up, grabbed her purse, and walked out without another word. That night, she posted a photo on Instagram, her hand on a wine glass, Derek's arm faintly visible in the background, captioned, "Finally treated like royalty." I didn't like it. I didn't comment. I didn't text her. I just sat there in the quiet apartment, the one I'd paid for, staring at a table set for two that would never be full again. I knew what she thought, that I'd chase her, that I'd fight for her attention the way Derek used to. But I didn't, because somewhere in that silence, I realized something she never would. Peace doesn't need an audience. The morning after she left, the apartment felt like someone had taken the air out of it. Her perfume still lingered in the sheets. Her hairbrush sat on the counter, her shoes by the door. It wasn't anger I felt. It was something quieter, heavier, a hollow kind of disbelief. I didn't text her, didn't call. I just went to work, came home, and tried not to notice how big the silence felt. 3 days later, my phone lit up. Lila. For a moment, I thought maybe she regretted it. Maybe she'd realized how harsh she'd been. But when I answered, her voice was calm, almost businesslike. "Hey," she said softly. "Can we talk?" I kept my tone even. "Sure." She came by that evening, dressed up as if she was going somewhere after. She looked radiant, honestly, confident, like someone who had already moved on. She sat on the couch and folded her hands. I wanted to explain. "So there's no bad blood." I nodded. "Go ahead. It's just," she started, glancing at me like she was rehearsing her lines. "You're a good man, Ethan. You really are. But I need something more. You and we've grown apart." "Because I'm not Derek," I said quietly. Her eyes flickered, caught off guard. "That's not fair." "It's true though, isn't it?" She hesitated. "Look, Derek and I have history. You can't just erase that. He knows a side of me you never did." I leaned back. "The side that cheats." Her mouth opened slightly. Then she laughed, cold, defensive. "You always twist things. You make me sound like a villain. I'm not. I want passion. I want to feel alive. And you're so controlled all the time. So stability isn't exciting enough for you." "I don't want stability," she snapped. "I want someone who makes me feel like a queen." There it was again, the same script she'd been repeating for months. I smiled faintly. "Then I guess you should go find your king." Her expression shifted, somewhere between irritation and disbelief. "You're really okay with this?" I shrugged. "You made your choice, Lila. You don't need my permission to live with it." She stared at me for a long moment, waiting for a reaction that never came. Finally, she stood up, grabbed her purse, and said, "I hope you don't regret this." "I won't," I said. That was the last time she set foot in my apartment. Over the next week, I watched her life unfold online like a movie I didn't audition for. She posted pictures with Derek almost daily. Fancy restaurants, late-night drives, a weekend getaway at some cabin. The captions were predictable. "Find someone who treats you like royalty. Finally, my king." The comments were full of hearts and praise. People called them a power couple. Mutual friends sent me screenshots, but I didn't even open them. I muted her account, deleted our photos, and went about my days in silence. At first, the quiet hurt. I missed the noise, the small talk, the laughter, even the pointless arguments. But as weeks passed, I started realizing how peaceful life felt without walking on eggshells. I started going to the gym again, took on extra projects at work. My boss noticed, and a few months later, I got promoted. I bought a better car, started saving for a down payment on a house. I wasn't healing fast, but I was healing right. Every now and then, people would bring her up. "Did you see Lila's post? She and Derek went to Miami. Guess she really traded up, huh?" I just smiled and said, "Good for her." Because deep down, I knew what she didn't. People like Derek burn bright and vanish fast. I'd seen enough to know that stability never loses its value. People just forget it until they need it again. One night, about 2 months after she left, I was locking up the office when my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Lila. I hope you're okay. Just wanted to say I don't hate you or anything. I hope you don't hate me." I read it twice, then locked my screen. I didn't reply. 2 days later, another text came. "I miss how easy things were with you. Derek's great, but it's different." I didn't realize how good I had it. Still, I said nothing. It was strange. When she left, she made it sound like I'd lost something. But now, as I sat in my clean, quiet apartment, eating dinner in peace, I realized she'd done me a favor. I'd spent months trying to make her feel like a queen. Now she could finally live like one, with her king. I just hoped she liked the castle, because she wasn't welcome back in mine. 3 months after she left, I ran into her by accident. It was a Friday evening. I just finished a meeting and stopped by a cafe near my office. I was waiting for my coffee when I heard a familiar laugh behind me. Light, practiced, unmistakably Lila's. I turned around. She was at a corner table, hair shorter now, dressed sharp but not radiant like before. She looked worn down. Derek sat across from her, scrolling through his phone, ignoring her entirely. I might have left unnoticed, but she spotted me. Her face froze for half a second, then softened into that same rehearsed smile she used when she wanted something. "Ethan," she said, standing up. "Wow, it's been forever." "Hey," I replied simply. She brushed her hair back and glanced toward Derek, who didn't even look up. "How have you been?" "Good. You?" Her smile faltered. "Busy. Things have been hectic." I nodded politely. "Well, good seeing you." I turned to leave, but she stopped me with a quiet, almost pleading tone. "Wait, can we talk sometime? Just to catch up?" I glanced at Derek, still glued to his phone, and then back at her. "I don't think that's a good idea, Lila." Her eyes flickered with something. Embarrassment, maybe. "Right? Of course." I walked out before she could say more. But as I glanced through the window while leaving, I caught her watching me go. And for the first time, I saw in her face what she never thought she'd feel: regret. A week later, I got another text from her. I just wanted to apologize. I wasn't fair to you. You didn't deserve what I did. I didn't answer. An hour later, can we please talk? Just once. I swear I'm not trying to start anything. I muted her number. But curiosity got the better of me a few days later when a mutual friend, Jenna, mentioned her. Have you seen Lila's post lately? She asked over lunch. No, I said flatly. She deleted almost all her pictures with Derek. Word is, they broke up. I raised an eyebrow. Already. Jenna nodded. Apparently, he cheated on her with one of her friends. She's been a mess. Tried to move back into her old apartment, but someone else already took it. I didn't say a word, just sipped my coffee slowly. 2 nights later, I got home to find a note taped to my door. It was from Lila. I know you don't want to talk to me, but please, just hear me out. I made a mistake. Derek isn't who I thought he was. I wish I'd never left. Can we meet for 5 minutes? I stood there for a long time, reading that note over and over. There was a time when I would have opened the door immediately, when hearing her say, I wish I'd never left, would have been all I needed. But that version of me was gone. Still, part of me wanted closure. So the next evening, I agreed to meet her at the park near our old apartment. She showed up wearing a hoodie and jeans, makeup smudged, eyes red. She didn't look like the confident woman who'd once bragged about finding her king. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. I nodded. What did you want to say? She hesitated, biting her lip. You were right. About everything. Derek just wanted someone to show off. Once he got bored, he moved on. I stayed silent. I thought I was upgrading, she said bitterly. Turns out, I was just temporary. I crossed my arms. You kicked me out of my own life for a guy who didn't even make it 3 months. Tears welled up in her eyes. I was stupid. I thought you were too predictable. I thought excitement meant love. But all I found was chaos. Lila, I said, my voice calm but firm, you didn't want a man. You wanted an audience. And when I stopped clapping, you went looking for someone louder. She flinched, looking down. I deserve that. I took a step back. No, you deserve better than Derek. But I deserve better than what you gave me. She reached out, touching my arm lightly. Can't we start over? Please. I miss you. I shook my head. You miss the version of me who tolerated you. He's gone. She started to cry quietly, covering her face with her hands. I didn't say anything, didn't comfort her, didn't stay. When I walked away, I heard her whisper, I'm sorry. And for the first time, I believed her. But sorry doesn't fix what's already burned down. That night, she texted again. I just wanted to say goodbye. You don't have to respond. I hope you find someone who sees how lucky they are. I didn't reply. The next morning, her social media was wiped clean. No photos, no quotes, nothing. Just a blank profile. I don't know where she went after that. I stopped wondering. Some endings don't need closure. They just need distance. And mine finally had plenty of it. About 6 months after that last encounter, I barely thought of Lila anymore. Life had become simple, predictable in the best way. Work was steady, my savings were growing, and for the first time in years, I actually liked who I was when I looked in the mirror. Then, one Friday morning, I got an email from HR. We're hiring a new marketing coordinator. She'll be assisting your team for the next quarter. Please review her onboarding schedule. I opened the attached file and froze. Name, Lila Harris. My ex. I laughed out loud. It didn't feel real at first. But sure enough, when Monday came, she walked through the glass doors of my office building, dressed neatly, clutching a tote bag and a nervous smile. When our eyes met, her face went pale. Ethan, she breathed, barely audible. Morning, I said evenly, as if she were any other employee. You're in conference room 2. Orientation starts at 9. She blinked rapidly, trying to gauge if I was angry, or worse, indifferent. I gave her nothing, just professionalism. The look on her face told me it was the last thing she expected. Over the next few weeks, we barely interacted. She avoided me whenever possible, and when she couldn't, she was overly polite. She was quiet, kept to herself, and didn't post online anymore. The few coworkers who got close to her mentioned she seemed sad, but no one pried. Then one afternoon, after a long meeting, she caught me in the hallway. Can we talk? She asked softly. I checked my watch. Make it quick. She took a deep breath. I know this must be weird for you. It's weird for me too. I just want to say, I'm sorry. Again. You already did, I said. I know, but I didn't mean it right before. I was still trying to save face. She looked down. Working here has been humbling. Watching you do so well. It's hard, but I'm proud of you. I didn't reply. Her eyes watered. I just want to make things right, even if it's just by saying I'm sorry one more time. I finally met her gaze. Lila, you don't owe me anything, and I don't owe you forgiveness. We're just co-workers now. Let's leave it at that. She nodded slowly, lips trembling, and whispered, okay. Then she walked away. And that was that. Except life has a way of wrapping things up neatly when you least expect it. A few weeks later, my boss called me into his office. Ethan, he said, we're restructuring the department. We're cutting some temporary positions, including the new coordinator. It's budget stuff, not performance. I nodded, understanding immediately who that meant. He sighed. I'll handle the paperwork. But since you're technically her supervisor, I'd appreciate if you could sit in for the meeting. She might take it better hearing it from someone familiar. I didn't want to, but I also didn't want to look petty by refusing. So I agreed. The next morning, she came into the office, unaware. When HR explained the decision, she nodded quietly, eyes red. She didn't argue, didn't beg, just sat there, clutching her folder like it was keeping her together. When it was over, she stood up, turned to me, and said softly, thank you for not being cruel about it. I said, take care of yourself, Lila. She gave me a faint, broken smile. You too, Ethan. And then she walked out of the building for the last time. A month later, I heard from Jenna that Lila had moved back in with her parents. Derek had left her deep in debt, apparently took money from her while they were together. She was working part-time and trying to rebuild. I didn't feel joy. Not really. Just closure. I'd spent so long wondering if she'd ever see what she threw away, and now I knew she did. Not because I rubbed it in her face, not because I got revenge, but because life has a funny way of delivering lessons quietly. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's becoming everything someone said you couldn't be. One evening, almost a year to the day after she left me, I got another message, this time through LinkedIn of all places. Hey Ethan, I just wanted to say congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I'm really proud of you. You deserve it. I hovered over the reply box for a long time. Then I wrote, thank you, Lila. I wish you well. And that was the end. No drama, no screaming, no grand gesture. Just peace. I didn't block her. I didn't need to. She was part of an old life I'd finally outgrown. That night, I sat on my balcony with a beer, watching the city lights flicker in the distance. It hit me how strange life can be. A year ago, I thought losing her was the worst thing that could happen. Now, it was the best thing that ever did. She left looking for a king, and I built my own kingdom instead. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.